Today I'm visiting my dad in Reno, Nevada, and I finally am going to take a close look at one of my favorite guitars of all time. Check out this beauty. Hey guys, this is Adam from Miller's Custom Guitars, and today I'm continuing my series on what I found at Papa's house. My family and I are visiting my dad in Dayton, Nevada at his beautiful home. He's got a golf course in the backyard. It's pretty beautiful here. There was no AC yesterday, and it's hot. So I'm very glad he fixed the AC. Every time we come here, we have a good time. The kids love Papa. We have a good time. We always eat some good food. We always play guitar, me and my dad. We always play some worship music together, and that is a memory I will always cherish. But whenever I come here, I always make sure to poke around and see what kind of things he's got lying around, because my dad, as part of his home decor, has instruments lying everywhere. He's got a real Steinway & Sons piano with ivory and ebony keys. Guys, I know ivory is bad, but it's very old. So they didn't unalive any new elephants. That piano is probably 50 or I don't know, so years old, but it's cool, man. And he's got some cool things. He's got violins. He's got a banjo. I don't know. There's a lot of cool instruments. He's got an accordion in the corner. Whenever I get here, I always like to pull out one of his guitars and shoot some content on it, because he's got a lot of really cool guitars and pieces of other gear, including amps and a bunch of digital gear as well. But out of all of his gear, to me, there is no piece of gear that he's got that is better than this one. This to me is the cherry on the cake. This is about my favorite guitar I've ever played. This guitar to me is not an instrument, it's magic. This is a vintage 1959 Gretsch. I don't know what model it is. The model sticker is faded out. It just has a serial number. It might be a Country Gentleman, I don't know. It's got the 3-way toggle for tone, master volume, volume for the neck, volume for the bridge, and a 3-way toggle. My dad got this guitar a couple of years ago on a really good deal because it was in really bad shape. He had a person offer him this guitar, and they wanted probably the appropriate market value if it was in decent condition, and it came with an amp, and he didn't have that much money, and it was not in good condition, and he ended up getting this guitar for $500. Can you even believe it? But like I said, it was in really bad condition. You can see from the videos that I'll have playing as I speak that this guitar is in what I would consider below player grade condition. Not only was this guitar very heavily played, it was also abused. There was a very bad neck break right here that, in my opinion, wasn't repaired properly. They doweled it in 3 places. Didn't hide those very well. You can see the glue, you can see the epoxy. Whoever the person was that repaired it didn't do a great job. I guess they did a good job of fixing it because it hasn't come unfixed, but it didn't do a good job of hiding it or fixing, blending it in. It's very obvious where the repair was. When he got it, the frets were a mess. The neck was a mess. Someone had attempted to do a sanded and oiled neck on the finish and did a really horrible job. The tuners, we had this original vintage tuners on it, and they were completely unusable. You could not tune this guitar at all. The nut was falling apart. And the other thing that happened was that this bridge had cracked. The support had cracked right down the middle. And so Papa gave this guitar to me. And this was right when I was starting to get my tech services and take them much more seriously. And so I took it as a challenge. I did a full fret level in crown. We did not want to remove the frets. I believed that they had been replaced, not very well, but I don't think they were the vintage frets, but I didn't want to go yanking the frets out. I hadn't done a refret at that time. I have done a couple now, so I probably could do this job now. But instead I just did a fret level in crown to make the frets nice and even and playable with polished tops. This was the first bone nut that I cut by hand. People say the first time you cut a nut, you're gonna mess it up. Yeah, I did that. So this is actually not the first nut I cut. This was the second nut I cut because the first one went in the garbage. And you know, I gotta say, holds up. Nice low action. I could have left a little more meat on top so the strings would be a little deeper, but yeah, it's still beautiful. Holds strings, no pinging. I repaired this saddle by gluing a little bit of wingy underneath, a nice thin strip of wingy underneath to glue those back together. I did not want to replace this bridge because it was vintage. Instead, I just glued that together, and wingy is a similar color, and since I glued it from underneath, if you just look at it, you can't really tell. If you kind of gotta get a close look to tell. And also, the pots were bad. We kept all the original parts. They are in a bag somewhere. They weren't the original pots, by the way, but we kept them anyway. I did replace the pots. The switching is all original. Additionally, some of the other repairs I did, besides the pots and fixing the bridge and doing the neck and the nut, I did replace the tuners. I mentioned the tuners were bad. I put on these Grover open back high ratio tuners. These are excellent tuners. I highly recommend them if you're looking for an open back style tuner. I did that. And then the other thing is, remember I mentioned that someone had tried to do a sanded and oiled neck. I redid that. I would not have touched the neck if someone hadn't done it already. Once again, with a vintage instrument, you want to treat them with care. This was an instrument that had already been beat up and mangled, and someone had already gone in there and mucked it up. And I went in there because they had mucked it up. I felt it was my job to fix their mess up. And so I did what I do with maple necks. You've seen me do it on the channel before, where I took it, you'll see in my clips, that I took it from here, I masked this off, and I took it from here to here, and I took it all the way back to the wood, and I took it back to 80 grit, and then polished it all the way up to 2000 grit, and then polished it, and then oiled it with boiled linseed oil. You've seen me do that on my kit build. You've seen me do that when I rebuilt the kit. You've seen me do that a couple times, and it makes a really great feeling neck. You do have to reapply boiled linseed oil every couple years, but that's what the repairs I did to this neck to make it feel great and play great. The result was the guitar that it's got super low action, that is dead flat, extremely playable, and you just wouldn't believe that on a guitar this old that it would play so good. It plays like a dream. But in all honesty, when you pick up a guitar like this, you're not picking it up for the playability. Even though it's got great playability, that's not why you're grabbing this guitar. You're grabbing a guitar like this for the tone. And this guitar, in my opinion, the tone is magic. It's just heaven. I don't know what to explain. I don't know how to explain it. The pickups are just, you guys just gotta hear it. I'm running through my dad's vintage Princeton amp. This is a 1964 black face Princeton amp. I'll get some shots of the settings. I'm gonna start I got the treble on 8, the bass on 7.5, the tremolo is off, and the volume is at 4. This is the same amp that I've got. I got a 1965, and my dad had to one-up me, so he had to get a 64. So his is 1 year older than mine. His is in better condition than mine. It was when he bought his, and then also I've done some gigging with mine, so it's in even worse condition than his is. Although I think I like my speaker better than his. I have an El Nico speaker. I think he's got the ceramic. I'll give you some sounds. I'll start with the volume on 4, then I'll turn the volume up to 5, and I'll turn the volume up to 6, and you can hear the different sounds. I also have a Wampler tumnus on the ground for a little bit of dirt if we want some of that, and you can hear some of the sounds that we've got, okay? Here we go. But let's get into some sounds. One of the things I like about this guitar is even without plugging in, it just, because of its archtop nature, and this is a true hollow. It's got a block in the middle to support the middle, but it's a true full hollow. It's not a semi-hollow. It's not a block that goes all the way. This is a full hollow block guitar. Because of that, it's just a fun guitar to play, even if you're not have sound going through it. If you're just sitting on the couch watching TV. Like, not if you're sitting around a campfire, right? You couldn't lead worship on this guitar, unplugged. But if you're just sitting around, it's just fun to have in your hands and fun to play with, and you can hear what's going on. It has a lot of resonance to it. But the real joy on this guitar, the real magic is the tone of the pickups. So let's get into it. Like I'm running into the Princeton, and I'll just roll into it. I got both pickups maxed. And then just real quick, I'll talk about the switching. This is a 3-way toggle for the pickups. This is a 3-way toggle for tone. It has 2 different tone capacitors instead of a tone knob. It has 3-way tone switching for capacitors. In the middle, it's your full, like your tone knob was all the way up. Then you have one that rolls off quite a bit of tone, and then run as if your tone is rolled off all the way. If you were playing a jazz kind of thing, that would be maybe what you were doing. I'll do that a little bit, but for the most part, I'm going to run that in the middle today. Okay, here we go. We'll start with the neck pickup. I'll add the tumnus. One thing that doesn't come across in the video, and it can't come across in the video, it's impossible, is the feel of the guitar to play in the room. And just to me, the notes just seem really immediate. Like when I'm playing that kind of thing, it just feels really immediate. It feels really quick and immediate in your face, you know? So I'm gonna turn the amp up right now. We'll go from 4 to 5. Just the chime and the top end of that bridge pickup is just so good. Let's go up to 6 on the amp. Yeah! The amp is just starting to distort a little bit. Now these amps, they do not have much overdrive or distortion, even turned up all the way. Like I'm on 6, but it's just starting to push and clip just a little bit. I'm gonna add the tumness. Look, I don't know what else to say. I mean, this guitar, in my opinion, despite its flaws and its history, it is perfect. There's not a thing I would change on it, you know? You just plug it in and play. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. It feels great. It looks great. There's just something about a vintage burst, you know? It's just awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this video, this look at what I found at Papa's house, this beautiful guitar. You know, last year my mom passed away. It was one of the hardest things that we have gone through as a family. I don't wish to go through that again. But if it does happen, Papa, just kidding, Papa, don't ever die. No, bad. But this is an awesome guitar, and it's a true treat to have in the family and to pick it up whenever I come over here. So anyway, until next time, this has been Adam from Miller's custom guitars, and I can't wait till we can go back to Papa's house and see what else he has kicking around. He's got a bunch of things, and we'll take a look. Maybe we'll take a closer look at the Princeton amp. Who knows? He's got a couple things kicking around. So until next time, don't be a jerk, guys.